Fires up in LA, forcing thousands of people out of their homes. Emotional support can be just as important as financial aid.
Yeah, being so close in proximity, many people here probably know somebody who was affected. We definitely have. Our region is no stranger to wildfires, so the devastation could bring up some past trauma for people who went through similar events. And joining us right now in studio to speak about how you can provide emotional support is Angela Chee. She's a communication coach and author of The Power of the Only. Angela, it's so good to see you as a former colleague of ours. And it's great to know that you're writing this very important book. So first off, you grew up in LA. So
Yes.
what's your reaction to what you've seen that happened up there?
You know, I grew up there. I've covered stories there, all those neighborhoods. It is so heartbreaking to me. And my parents are just south of the fire, so they're fine. But it's really heartbreaking. So I'm just trying to do as much as I can, as all of us are, to provide emotional support for those that we know and kind of from afar. So,
You know, in crisis like this, whether it's the wildfires or any kind of tragedy, how can somebody connect with friends and family and really help them feel like you're there?
yeah.
Give them support.
Sometimes people are afraid to say the wrong thing, so they don't say anything at all. But right now, people really need support. And just by showing that you're there and showing up, it can really help people cope and feel better. You want to start with like a quick check-in. And once you know someone's safe, sometimes you have to be okay with them not responding. Because for some people, support feels like support. For some people, support can feel like more pressure, something I have to answer. So you kind of just want to wait till they get back to you, but it's still important to show up.
And what about those people who lost everything? I mean, those homes are just ash and rubble now. How do you support them emotionally once they see what is going on there?
Psychologists say that people are so overwhelmed, they don't know what they're feeling. Grief, sadness, fear, and it can change from day to day, hour to hour, and in the months to come, it can get worse. So the most important thing that any of us can do in a crisis, as well as humans, is just be present. We can give people their attention and be okay with however they're feeling. Some want to share their stories and vent. Other people may be angry and want to vent, and some people may just want to sit in silence. So showing your emotional support, however it looks, is important.
Really, though, there are tips to actually connecting with people. Talk about those.
Yeah, overall, when you're trying to connect with people, I think, especially right now, is have empathy. Understand where people are coming from, what's going on in our global connected world. What we're feeling on the West Coast, they may not be feeling on the East Coast. You may have colleagues that are going through things globally. So in any type of communication, not just in crisis, is to have empathy. What is someone going through before you talk to them? What are they feeling? When you can acknowledge how someone is doing and what they need, makes everyone a better communicator and a better connector.
You sort of touched on this earlier. Sometimes we're afraid, oh my gosh, I might say the wrong thing to somebody. So really, what should we do and not do in that situation, perhaps?
Is there a wrong thing?
Yeah, you don't want to try to minimize the situation, right? You want to be validated. Research shows when you validate someone, they feel seen, they feel heard. And you don't want to rush to make them feel better, because sometimes people just need to sit with their emotions. It can minimize what they're doing. And they're like, oh, it's not so bad as this, or let me tell you what happened to me. Make it all about them and just be there for them. And long-term support is important too, because all this flood of attention, it goes away eventually, and then people feel abandoned, so keep showing up.
Connection is so important to people, especially during times like this. What else can we do to make an impact and help them feel connected and supported?
Long term, that's exactly what happens, because as you know, you cover the fires, there's adrenaline going, all the news floods in, and then people leave. They go back to their normal lives if they're not affected. But the people that are affected are sitting with insurance claims, things long term, and that grief may come up. So you want to keep reaching out, and even with donations, you want to give specific support and make sure that we don't just do it in the first weeks, the few days that follow, but we continue to show up for our friends and people that we care about.
And Angela, we do know that you actually speak to people about communicating and impactful communication. Is there a website that they can reach you at?
Oh, yes, yeah, angelachee.com. But right now, we just want to focus all our attention on the fires, and on my social media. I've been sharing a lot of resources to help people with the fires at Angela Chee TV.
All right, Angela, thanks so much for being here, and thanks for all you're doing to help people out through this crisis.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
How do you cancer